Hello, Syed here. Today we'll be going over some tips and tricks for custom project templates in Visual Studio 2022. We'll spend a few minutes on tips for template users and then dive into some tips for template authors. And let's go ahead and dive into the first tip. So the first tip I have for you today is how to find templates. So the way that you can find templates is actually with NuGet.org. So we can go to NuGet and then we can explore templates right here. So for example, I've heard there's a popular template called .NET Boxed. I'm going to go ahead and search for Boxed. Here I'm going to come into the filter. Let's go ahead and zoom in on this. We want to go ahead and select template here to limit to only templates. And you can see I've got 3 templates. I'll take the first search result. Let's go ahead and zoom in on this one as well. We've got the command. We've got the command here that we need to execute that. Go ahead and copy that here. And then go ahead and install this on the terminal. All right, I'm going to go ahead and paste in the .NET New command here. We can see some templates were installed here, a couple item templates as well as some project templates. Let's go ahead and jump back into Visual Studio here. All right, I've already got Visual Studio 2022 loaded up here, and it was running before I did that install actually. Let me go to File, New Project. Let's do a quick search in here for Boxed. All right, we can see those 4 project templates were successfully installed and they're now appearing in Visual Studio 2022. Go ahead and pick the first search result here for the first. I'll take the API project here. Go ahead and go with the defaults here. All right, on this page, we're seeing we're seeing parameters that have been authored by the template author here. So these are parameters coming from the template itself. Go ahead and customize some of these. We can see that these templates are the parameters are pretty extensive here. Lots of different options. Go ahead and select some of these. Let's go ahead and create this project. Take a look at what we get out of there. All right, we can see that the project was successfully created, or it's actually a lot more than just a project here. It's a whole entire repository template here. You know, you've got your code and folders for your tests and documentation and whatnot there. So this is a whole kind of repository template there. All right, let's go ahead and go to the next tip here. Let me close out of that solution. Let's go back to the terminal here. So now, once you've installed a template, you might need to know how to uninstall that. So the way that you find those commands are .NET New-U. With no parameters, this will go ahead and list everything that you've installed and then give you a handy command to uninstall those templates. I'll go ahead and grab that, paste that in. Go ahead and uninstall that template. All right, so that template has now been uninstalled. All right, so now let's go ahead and switch over to template author tips. For this talk, I'll assume that you already know how to create a template, and if you don't, I've done lots of videos recently, including a full series with Leslie Richardson on the Visual Studio Toolbox show about how to create templates here. So we're just going to go over some tips. All right, so the first tip that I have for you is to use the template analyzer, which I've created previously. You can get to it at this link here, aka.ms/netcore-templates. Let me go ahead and go to that. This will take you to a GitHub repository that I've created. In addition, so the template analyzer is right here. So here's the command to go ahead and install that template analyzer. And then there's a lot of other great information here about, how to create templates and fine-tune those for Visual Studio. So I already have this command installed. Let's take a look at the help here. So I'll go to templates-h for help. We can see that we've got an analyze command. So I'll go templates analyze-h. So here you can analyze your templates here. So I will go ahead and analyze some templates that I have. So templates, analyze, template, we'll say -f, template sample, content, or is it source, content. All right, so I've got some templates there. So that's the root of my kind of template repository. And we can see that my analyzer has found, 4 templates here and giving me a warning about a description that's not found. So, I'll go through and fix that and then go ahead and release my template after that. All right, so the next thing that I have, the tip for you, is actually relating back to searching on NuGet.org. So we saw that, I did a search for templates, and let's do another one here. So I'll take a look for any API template. So I'm going to filter for template here, and then we get our results. The way that these search results are powered is inside your NuGet package, either in the new spec or in the .NET project, there's a package type field, and you need to make sure that that package type is set to template. And you can have multiple package types if your package is doing different things, so that's not a problem at all. All right, so that's another tip. So let's go ahead and go to the next tip here. So we want to go to the template repository, which is github.com/.net/templating. And once we go there, we can then navigate to the wiki here. So we've got the wiki here. There's a lot of really great information in this wiki about, more kind of details about how the template engine itself works. And if you want like a really great, a more in-depth kind of knowledge about the template engine, the runnable project templates document here in the wiki is a really kind of great place to start. Kind of, talks a little bit more about the internals of template engine and the kind of philosophy and more kind of details about how it works there. So these are the kind of runnable, this the document for that one as well. All right, let me give you another tip here. So let's go into my code in the samples here for template sample. Let's go into content and let's take a look at the template.json. So, if you've been creating templates, you should already know about this, but source name is a very kind of special parameter where you've got your code and the replacements will happen on source name. So let's take a look at this. So the source name for this one is my command. And if I go and look at the code itself, we'll see that my command is actually used throughout this code. For example, in this case, it's the namespace. So those replacements will happen based on source name. So you always want to make sure that you've got a source name. All right, let's go back to that template.json. I want to show you another tip. Another tip is to go ahead and drop an icon.png file in the template.config file. So here's an icon that I'm using for one of my templates, and in the past you had to hook up the icon in an ide.host.json file, but that's no longer required with Visual Studio 2022. So you don't even have to have an ide.host.json file to show up in Visual Studio. Just vanilla templates will show up. Adding the icon will make it so that way the icon will appear in the Visual Studio new project dialog. All right, that's just a kind of a quick little video about tips and tricks about how to use templates, how to create templates, and kind of go from there. But yeah, keep an eye out. We'll have lots of other content coming forward as well relating to custom templates.